Alright guys, let's do a couple of the problems here. We're going to be solving quadratics using square roots. Okay, and in this section we want to do in simplified radical form, so no decimals. So let's start with number one. The first thing we want to do is isolate our x term. So our x squared, we want to get it by itself. So anything adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing of this x term needs to move to the other side. So the only thing that's adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing is negative 8. It's subtracting 8, so to move it to the other side, we're going to add 8. This cancels out, and now we're left with x squared equals 25. And now that we have our x squared term isolated, we have to get rid of the power of 2. We want to get x by itself. So the thing that undoes the power of 2 is the square root. So we are going to square root here, and what you do to one side, do to the other. The square root, power of 2 cancel out. We're left with x on the left side equals 2, and we have the square root of 25. And anytime you're solving and you're taking the square root of a number, if the number is positive, so this number inside is positive, that means it will have two answers, and those two answers are going to be a plus or minus sign in front. So again, this plus or minus sign here just means that we're going to have an answer that's going to have a positive answer and an answer that's going to have a negative answer. So two total answers. So now all we have to do is find the square root of 25. So what times what multiplies to 25? So if you recall, we do the tree method. 5 times 5, we got a pair. And every pair comes outside of the square root. So we take a 5 out of the square root, because one of these 5s pay the price. Okay? So we have x is equal to plus or minus 5. What this really means is we have two answers. X is equal to 5, or x is equal to negative 5. So that's all plus or minus means. There's two distinct answers. All right, let's go over and do number 2. Again, we're looking for our variable that's squared. We want to get this guy by itself. So we need to get rid of anything adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. And what we have here is we have it being divided by 3. So to get rid of division, we're going to multiply both sides by 3. What you do to one side, do to the other. This cancels, and we have d to the second power equals 15 times 3, which is 45. Now that our variable is all by itself to the power of 2, we're going to square root both sides. So let's go ahead and do that here. What you do to one side, do to the other. The square root and the power of 2 cancel each other out. And we're left with d equals plus or minus the square root of 45. And now let's break this down. Again, do not throw this in the calculator. We want simplified radical form. So 9 times 5. And we also know that 9 can split into 3 times 3. We have a pair of 3's, but one guy pays the price. So this is going to give me d equals plus or minus 3 comes out because we had a pair, so one guy pays the price. 5 does not have a partner, so he stays inside the square root. Okay, so again, this is two answers. D equals positive 3 radical 5, or D equals negative 3 radical 5. And those are your two answers. Okay, let's do number 5. So again, we want to get x squared by itself. So I want to get rid of anything adding or subtracting first. So I have a subtraction of 12. So I'm going to add 12. So we have 3x squared equals to 12. And x squared is still not by itself, so I need to get rid of the 3, which is multiplying. So it's 3 times x squared. So to get rid of multiplication, we divide. X squared equals 4. And now to get rid of the power of 2, I square root both sides. Square root, power of 2 cancel each other out. X is going to equal plus or minus the square root of 4. And the square root of 4 can be broken down to 2 times 2. Here's my pair. That means a 2 escapes. So plus or minus 2. There's nothing left over here. So again, there's no reason to put a radical because the 2 escaped. 1 paid the price. Here's my answer, which means x equals 2 or x equals -2. All right, hopefully this helps.